welcome to Billiard TV. This week we are having Erkka with us. Erkka is a student in Aalto University and he's gonna tell about himself and how did he end up in here today.
Hello everyone, I'm Erkka and I'm here to talk about myself and about superconductors. That is my master thesis.
Did you dream from your childhood to become I'm gonna work on the superconductors and then just start to go on with it? Or how did you find the topic? You were studying chemical engineering before then.
Yeah. So maybe first, what is superconductors? So in many materials, not all of them, if you cool material down, make it cold enough, it will lose all of its electric resistance. So it will conduct electricity without hindrance. And naturally, in our very electrified world, that is a plus. What got me into it was one of the many applications we will continue to talk about. But the first thing that got me interested in them was I was 19, searching the YouTube, and then I saw a video, a very small video showing, in this video we can see a metal plate hovering in the air and the person is putting it upside down, touching it, and it seems like it's frozen in the air. Immediately I realized this is not normal magnet. Normal magnet would just fall off and not levitate, but it's literally locked in air and spinning and such. So this was the thing, was what the hell is that? How does it work? And it was the end of it. I would get interested in them. I would read about them, see more videos, search about them. Of course I wouldn't understand that much, I was only 19 and not very good student of physics. But then they stuck with me. I had to apply for the Aalto University from the military. It was literally the guy came to me, higher up came to me. Koskeniemi, do you have a job? No sir. Do you have a place to study? No sir. Then you have to apply for one. Apply for university. I was, god damn it sir. Okay. I applied for Aalto University and chemistry because it was my highest grade. So I ended up in chemistry, and then on first lectures they actually mentioned the superconductors. So I was like, so I'm in the correct place if I still want to do that later. So I did my bachelor's in organic chemistry, so nothing superconductive about that. Autumn 22, I went to the course of inorganic chemistry, and there was Marit Karppinen having a lecture of superconductors. And I was like, god damn it, should I ask her about thesis topic? Because it had been in back of my mind for years. You know, if they haven't finally made it work perfectly, because there are still many issues. Very high negative degrees of cold is one of them, like they only work at negative 170 at the moment. So that's very cold and hard to maintain. But so yeah, I asked, she was, yes! And now I'm doing a master thesis of them and learning more and more about them.
Okay, that's great.
Yes.
You said like it's hard to maintain them, but we are encountering in our lives, in our daily lives, to superconductors. It's, for example, the MRI machine.
Yes.
Has some kind of things going on inside of it, which I still don't understand.
Yeah.
It's like feeling some claustrophobia in it. Well, yeah.
I have also been claustrophobic in there. Those things sound...
This sound is killing me. Is this sound because of the superconductors turning around it?
I'm not 100% sure, but definitely they use superconductors. So yeah, we can now speak of the applications of the superconductors. Superconductors have many uses in many applications even today. And if we can make the work in a room temperature, so around our temperature, then there will be even more so. But let's talk about the current applications. So even though they work at the negative 70 degrees, like it's very cold, but it's the boiling point of hydrogen. We have industrial ways to produce liquid hydrogen as much as we want. So one application is MRI machines. MRI machines require a lot of electricity to produce the MRI image we need. And superconductors, since they don't resist electricity at all, you can put extreme amounts of electricity through them. And so what they will do, they will dip the superconductors in liquid nitrogen. It's in a canister inside the machine. And interestingly enough, and I learned this last year, because there's no resistance of electricity, they can do it like this. They put enormous amount of juice in there, electricity, juice, and then they remove the cable, close the door, and it will continue spinning the electricity indefinite. So no extra costs. You juice it up, leave it, and it will run eternally, or near eternally, to be said. There must be some loss of energy, because when we use the electricity to make the picture, it only uses the magnetic field to do so. But it must, conservation of energy. There must something to happen. But if it's left alone there, it will run until the heat death of the universe.
So it means like we kind of collect the energy without any loss. We
Yes.
kind of like
Yes.
circulate the energy without any loss.
Without any loss.
Does this mean, for example, if we can make this application on the solar energy or wind energy, can we have like endless or like the maximum efficiency from this?
Yeah, like absolute
bioenergies?
maximum, the one. It's not 0.999999999. But yeah, if I can add to that, so we have this. But if we had the room temperature one, then we would have like a lot of applications. Like everybody knows the maglev train, as we saw in the video, and you guys can see at home. You saw in the video, it was perfectly still and floated there freely. And now current maglev trains, they have to produce electricity both on the train and in the rails to produce, the levitation effect, and it costs energy. But with the superconductor, we just technically slap a giant plate of superconductor under the train, and we only have to care about the electricity in the rails, and the thing will just
Of course. That's great.
That's
and
great.
You mentioned about the room temperature superconductors.
Yeah.
So there is two types of superconductors.
Yes.
One of them is working on the very cold temperatures, and one of them is for our daily life superconductor. It's like kind of implementation to our mobile phones, the computers.
Oh yes. Like think about it. But if it uses electricity, it will become better with the superconductor. Like everybody has computers. If the computer is made of superconductor, it will never heat up because computers heat up because the electricity goes through. Yeah. But since there's no resistance, it will not heat up. You don't need the annoying fans or anything like that.
And a dream.
That would be a dream.
Remembering my old computer and trying to play some high GPU games and like warming the whole room in the winter.
And the energy. We all need energy, and now it's produced with fossil fuels. One major thing, the dream would be if we could produce all the electricity in Sahara using solar panels and move it from Africa to Europe or anywhere else. But of course we cannot do that because even our best cables cannot carry the electricity more than a few 100 or 1,000 kilometers. It's too far. But with superconductor cable, no matter. You can produce the electricity anywhere in the world, and as long as the cable gets there, it will go there with no loss.
Okay.
So
that sounds like a utopic energy world.
Yeah, this is of course very, very optimistic, situations, because let's say the superconductor is made of platinum, so we definitely don't have enough platinum to cableize the entire world.
This is our limit in the superconductors, like the material.
At the moment, our limitations of why we don't have those is we don't know precisely how the effect works. We do know some things, like when there's cool enough temperature, then and the material is correct, the electrons start act weirdly. They will become, my teacher told me, they become what we call Cooper pair. They will link up together and form a small tray and go through the material.
Kind of a lost. When you got into the copper pairs and these kind of things, it's like...
Yeah, okay. Then we don't like... do you want me to explain more? Or should we
just go with the very simple terms.
Oh, yeah. Whatever it is, the electrons pair up, they just become small train that is 2 electrons long. And this train, let's say, it can push through the material without and that's how it works, on the smallest possible amounts. But like we said, we don't know what causes this, like what combination of material or elements does this. We have guesses and we have made them work in small temperatures, but nothing about the higher temperatures. It's started to become annoying. I started studying and I thought we would have finally found it. And on 2020, there was super big headlines in Finnish media, like room temperature superconductor has been found. I was like, holy! Can I finish the? Okay, children.
Go ahead. We are
yeah. So maybe there's children, so no. But yeah, I was like, they did it. Nah, of course there's a catch. They did it, but it works in 2 million atmospheres. Like 2 million atmospheres. That's more than Jupiter.
Yeah, so we went from the unrealistic temperatures to the unrealistic pressure levels.
Exactly. And let's be honest, the other one is way more unrealistic.
Cooling down is easier.
Yeah, but they literally put it between 2 diamonds in the largest pressure. Like, yay, you made
Yeah,
it
it
work.
works. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, guys. One thing, although, was one professors. Nowadays actually they have said maybe they didn't make it work actually because of the high pressures. The data they got wasn't clear enough, so not many are questioning if they actually made it work. But one positive was, even though it's in the extreme situations, we could, use any analysis methods and see in what position the atoms are inside the pressure, and we could reverse engineer it. If we can see what positions they are there, we can check if there are any normal elements doing the same in our room temperature and pressure. And so it wasn't totally useless, even though it's in the super extreme extremes.
Oh, I like it.
I like it.
Superconductors is the topic of your master's thesis, right?
Yeah.
Was the topic of your bachelor's thesis anyway connected to superconductors?
Nothing. My bachelor thesis was about vacuum drying of wood material.
So it was more on the organic side.
Yeah, strongly on the organic side. So if anything, you should know, even though your master is about organics, your bachelor is about organics, you can change. I changed, and you all as well in the audience. It's never too late to change. There's always more studying, but it's never. Yeah. Of course, it was harder because I haven't taken that many courses of inorganic, so I have been catching up.
What was it like, for example, if you would path to the superconductors when you are experimenting or like when you're doing something? That was a huge interesting moment, or
basically like when's the aha moment?
Yeah,
where it's like
that's where is the
Right.
aha moments for you, like to feel like okay,
when the light
going.
turns on above your head anyway.
Of course, the one aha moment was when I learned the MRI machines can just endlessly recycle the electricity. That was an aha moment. I hadn't realized before. Then the video I saw as a 20-year-old, that was an aha moment. Has there been any other aha moments? I don't know. I mean, what kind of aha moments? Like when I was writing about it, did I have...
Or like in the lab doing
The
research
lab.
and then you got
Yeah.
inspiration
Like
suddenly.
theories.
You saw something.
Of course, when I first time I hold one in my hand was
Yeah,
of course,
for
yeah, of
example,
course,
that's
that was one. It was black powder, but it was the beautiful, most beautiful black powder I had ever saw. Because this is it, the actual superconductor. I made it this far. I have actually holding it in my hand. Of course, that was moment. And when I was making my first sample, I broke a piece of it. My teacher said, keep it, because we can take it to the cold room next year and make it levitate. So you can see the levitation for your own eyes. I'm all like, of course, I've only seen it in video, never live. So that will be, aha, oh my god, and a ton of videos, a ton of pictures, because it will be amazing.
I would like to ask another question.
Sure.
This topic is quite interesting, and for many of us might be, we can follow this area in the future. But what you would suggest for like young people, for like who wants to pursue this career? What kind of paths you can just show them to go through?
I would a little bit warn against maybe studying superconductors, because this is very rare area. This is highly rare area. Technically, it has been studied for almost 50 years or more. We have known about the phenomenon. But there's very little industry, there's a lot of use for them, but they're very niche uses. And for example, I will be, in my career, I will probably work with the semiconductor industry instead of the superconductors. Of course, if I can, and it's meaningful work, I can do it. But I assume, at least in Finland, I will not find that kind of work. Personally, I don't want to work outside Finland. I mean, I can, but this is one of those personal things. Everybody said, just do it, go. What's keeping you here? I feel a debt. I feel a debt towards Finland.
Mm-hmm.
I got the free education, free healthcare, and if I just, thanks for the money, see ya, I'll pay my taxes to Germany. Somebody said you could go work to Germany, then get a family, and then come back. But then, yeah.
That is the purpose of going to Germany, not to work on that, to have the family in that.
Yes. But this is highly passion project. For example, many people want the paid master thesis. I don't get any money from this, so I'll do other work.
What about the academic life of it? For example, after your master, do you have opportunity to pursue a PhD or maybe a postdoc? Maybe stay in the academic life, stay in the Aalto for all your life.
Yeah.
Why not?
Actually, why not? my supervisor, she made her master of superconductors. Now she's a doctoral student studying superconductors, and so technically I maybe could be her next her.
I believe there will be like
Yeah.
more opportunities. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's a rare area. There's not many people who wants to work in the
Oh,
academy
This is by
of these
yeah.
superconductors.
Yeah, that's true actually. But there are also not many places to do so.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, my secret dream is to be. I try to work towards it to find this room temperature superconductor. At least I will go to the semiconductor industry, but I try to learn as much as possible about superconductors while I still can. Because if they find the room temperature superconductor, and I truly believe they will find it within next 10 years. But I thought last 7 years that, so maybe not. Let's see.
Maybe we have
But
3 more years.
On the day they find it, it will be the moment if I am one of the few professionals of superconductors, I will be very, very, very valuable person in Finland.
I 100% believe on that.
I also hope that too. So
You will have a department in VTT by yourself.
yes, exactly. Keep your crampy rooms. I have been the building for myself.
That will be nice.
It will be nice.
Quick question, actually. You talked about superconductors. With your work and studies, are you more experienced with the pure metals and the metallic alloys, or with the ceramic alloys type of?
Ceramic alloys.
Ceramic
alloys.
Which one do you think has a larger chance of working at room temperature?
Excellent question. Excellent questions. When you said there are 2 types of superconductors, there are actually literally 2 types of superconductors, type 1, type 2. But they are not differentiated based on the temperature. They are differentiated based on what they are made of. But type 1 is pure elements,
Yes.
and type 2 is ceramics.
Yes.
And none of the single element, we have researched all of the elements, and we can know which are superconductors or which are not. But that's the point. All of them are in few kelvins, like literally 10 kelvins, 5 kelvins. So it was an enormous jackpot when the first ceramic superconductor was found, and it was above. It was like 50 kelvins or 60 kelvins.
Which is still really cold.
It's really cold.
But,
and then
yeah.
they made the major breakthrough with the 170. And it's it's very complex it's very complex matter. It's yttrium, barium, copper oxide. And those are very rare and expensive elements. So it's the most used one actually in the industry. It's the most used one. But it's also using the very rare earth metals and such. To answer your question, definitely a ceramic will be one. That will be the room temperature. But how it works and what elements, we don't know. Of course, we hope it will be something very common like zinc, iron and oxygen or something. We don't know.
But people are trying.
People are trying. Every day, every year, all around the world, people are trying.
Many papers are publishing around
Yeah.
that topic, I believe.
Very many. Very many.
You want to see your PhD papers? One of them is breakthrough.
It would be awesome.
The
but,
biggest invention of the 21st century on the...
Definitely Nobel Prize to the guy who
I
finds
believe
it.
definitely they will get Nobel Prize.
definitely
Oh.
have the money.
That will be nice.
Definitely.
You know?
Breakthrough. Young man contaminates city water with arsenic-based superconductors. Well, I mean, if that's the cost for room temp or just cold semiconductors, something that doesn't have to be in the negative hundreds and hundreds of degrees.
Yes.
Well, everything that runs on electricity, which is everything nowadays, would be more efficient.
Yeah.
We'd have less waste heat, and
Yes.
everything would be more efficient, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing. And electric airplanes, more possible. Air traffic is one of the big polluters. Work better.
Since you brought that up, does the superconductor industry have the capacity to affect the battery industry?
Now that's interesting question because for years I thought so. But this thing, I have a cable. I combine the cables into a ring. I put some electricity inside it, and if it's made of superconductor, it will spin there forever. Room temperature superconductor, it will spin there forever. So it's an eternal battery. Unfortunately, it is still not as the energy capacity of current lithium batteries is better than the superconductor cable would have. I think. At least at the moment. So it would never be as good as current batteries, but if we want to permanently store energy, then they will be the best in the world. So it's for different needs. All of our batteries will die out eventually, quite quickly. Everybody who has owned a car, knows this. But the superconductor will never go bad, and especially if we have space travel of hundreds and hundreds of years. Possibly, space is large. So in the future, if we have to move energy, we will definitely build batteries of superconductors, keep the energy there, and move through space and use it like it was fresh. That was science fiction, but maybe we will actually use hydrogen, just hydrogen, because
It's abundant.
it's abundant and probably more energy dense than the superconductor batteries would be if we can burn it destination.
And I feel like if the scientists, if you guys will find just survive from the climate change, you might have a chance after that.
If we have wrench, it's always worse and worse and worse.
It is always going like this, and like all the implications and the efforts, they look good on the paper, but in the reality they are not still the facts. The superconductor development in the industry will change the world. Invest on the companies who is doing some research on the superconductors room temperatures.
Yeah, you industry, give us more money. We want to invent it, but we need more money to do so. It is one of those resources and money. I fully believe it's always about the budget. Like, it does pay to invest in science. All the basic research and such. It will always, no matter the field, it will always go forward. And it's never wasted to invest in science.
Quick question again, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
So you mentioned that it is pretty difficult to like achieve this room temp superconductor.
Like, it's difficult because we don't fully understand how it works
How
yet.
the phenomenon.
Like, finally we figure it out, it will hopefully be easy. But then,
Do you think this might only be possible if hypothetically another like element is discovered, maybe from like another planet or from outer space mining? Is it that far in the future, or is it a more recent?
I mean, I hope it will be within next 10 years or so, but it always feels like that. Like, just around the corner. They have been saying it for years, so it's one of those things. And to answer your question, it is definitely possible there's a planet that just happens to have the stone that is natural room temperature superconductor. We haven't tested all of the combinations of different elements yet. Like 10,000 we haven't tested yet. So it's definitely possible to find one of those in one of the exoplanets. Because will it be a new element? Unfortunately not. Because we have figured out there are no empty spaces in our elemental table, and all the heavier elements last only few femtoseconds or so.
Right.
Before they explode through fission. Actually, our teacher told us that they have studied that there would be one superatom that is, outside of the elemental table number 150 or so, and they have calculated that if they can make one in, is it Hadron Collider?
Yes.
Yes, Hadron Collider. That atom wouldn't disappear. And it would stay and float away. It's there. Maybe it could be a superconductor. We don't know. But it would be, honestly, the most expensive superconductor ever, because we can only make it one atom at a time. So, honestly, I hope it is within the next decade we can find. Feels like it. We have new information, new studies every year. But I cannot promise that in the end, because I totally expected for years it would happen by now. And it has been studied a long time. 40 years. Last breakthrough was a long time ago. The breakthrough of 170 was a long time ago, so it has been.
When you said about the combination of elements, or like an element from outside of the table, I just remember there is a scene in Iron Man, the first movie.
Yeah.
He is developing an energy.
Wait, it was second.
The second one.
In the second movie, he invented the new element.
The new element. It was the second one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
The second one, from his father's design,
exactly.
design.
Exactly.
He just found out the element.
Yeah.
And is this the superconductor?
Did they mention actually this is superconductor?
I don't remember they mentioned, but when you talk about the combinations and inventing it and what the work, what it is doing.
Energy or electricity spinning inside the arc reactor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be like that almost. Probably not as movie-like, but yeah.
Still imagining having this kind of energy source.
Yes.
Science fiction.
Like, okay, fan side of me was like, yes, Iron Man, you did it. But then my cynic side was, that was convenient. You invented a new element.
Yeah,
not new alloy, but new goddamn element. And look at that, he could actually produce it, the new element, without he made a more Hadron Collider for himself. And yeah, we don't need the CERN one. We can make a room-sized one.
His AI was smarter than this.
No. It was congratulations, sir. You have invented a new element. Thanks, Jarvis. I knew I was. The Vision did nothing. Wait, isn't it that like the Tony Stark's computer AI became Vision?
Yeah, kind of a mixed with Ultron.
Yeah, mixed with
They became Vision.
I wonder if Vision and Tony are alone. He will offer him a blanket. out of practice. Like he's like, thanks, listen, and you're welcome, sir. Where did that come from?
I did you.
Yeah.
Apparently, the element is referred to as potassium.
Yeah, that's you. Okay.
It's not mentioned to be a superconductor, but it seems to have some superconductor-like qualities. So it does not lose energy. It transfer. This one generates energy without any loss. A superconductor would transfer it without any loss.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
But I mean, potassium.
But
Why not?
The element in the first Avatar movie, it's a superconductor. And do you know what its name is? Its name is unobtainium.
Unobtainium.
Unobtainium. Like, that's the meanest thing, every, the MacGuffin element, evil aliens want, is always the unobtainium. But then James Cameron, let's name it unobtainium. Yeah, come on, man. It's me. Yeah.
We need
And,
that.
and now in the second movie, they have new element. Have you seen the second Avatar? Thank you for having me. I'm glad you were interested in what I had to say.
Hope you see you next time.
Yeah.